I don't know about you, but I think 7 lines of HTML is too many. Hey everyone, my name is Andy, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use just 7 lines of HTML to build an entire web page with a lot of heavy lifting from JavaScript. You may be wondering why you'd want to use JavaScript to build a web page. If you're trying to access data asynchronously and you want that data to come back as a JSON, then you'll have to transform that data to render on your web page. You could use a backend script, something in PHP or React, but then you've got another HTTP request to deal with, and that can have performance issues. Now, of course, having JavaScript build up your entire web page can also have a performance hit. We won't go into that in this video. This is just for fun. So let's make awesome. So I'm here in VS Code. I've got 3 empty files, an index.html, a script.js, and a star.css. What I'm going to do is create HTML with a head and a body. I'm going to leave the body on one line, and I want a script to point to my script.js, and I want to link CSS. And that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching. So just to make sure that these are linked correctly, I'm going to beautiful. That's all nice and linked up. And I don't know, we'll give it a darkish hue. That's nice. It's a nice color. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our document body. It's just easier to type it in as we go through. So I'm going to create a little function that we can call over and over again to do most of the work with this. So function create page element. Now I'm going to have a default of div just for the time being. So that if we don't pass in an element, it will just create one automatically as a div. Now there's all sorts of things we can do with this. I'm going to add a few parameters to this, all of which are going to be optional, and then we can just call this whenever we need to. So the next one is parent equals .pod. So the reason for that is if we don't pass in anything, it will just add it to the document. But if, for example, we want to create a list, we have to pass in our list object. So we've got our parameters here, and I'm going to go ahead and if parent equals null or parent equals undefined, then parent equals .quad. The reason for this is if I pass in a duff element, then it's just going to default to the page document. So then we will parent.append child our element, and then what we will do is we will return our element so we can use it elsewhere. If class list doesn't equal null, then lm.class name equals class list. If inner HTML doesn't equal that, then lm.inner HTML equals inner HTML. You can see where I'm going with this. If inner text doesn't equal null, then lm.inner text equals inner text. Simple. So if I have a const of nav equals create page element of nav, on docbod, and then if we go into our style, fixed, inset 0, we'll give it a height of, we'll call it 6.4 rem, and a background color of, I like this color, and there we go. It's added our navbar. Now if we inspect this, we can see that there is indeed HTML there, but the code has been injected by live server because I'm running this through live server. There's a great tutorial on how to get this set up with a link in the description below. But my HTML file is still only 7 lines long because JavaScript is doing the rest. So here's where it gets interesting. If I say const nav menu equals create page element of UL, and our parent is nav, our class is nav menu, you can see it's adding stuff to our list. I'm just going to add a couple more pages to this. So we've got our navbar sort of laid out. I just need to add a couple of things here. That's better. Nice, I like that. Wow. I think what I'll do here is display flex right. Okay. Let's give it a nice strong font for our nav level font. No, it goes in the nav. Font size. No, we'll give it a font weight of 600. So you can see that there's some stuff going on here. I'll close down our little function here, and then we can start adding some more stuff to it. And the great thing about this is you can use all the HTML tags when you create this page element, which all it does is use the document.createElement function, and it does so much of the heavy lifting is with this one little function, and it's just awesome. I love this function. It just makes me happy with how versatile and powerful it is. So we'll call it section home equals create page element section. Add it to our body. And these are all null, so we don't even need to add these. I'm giving them these names just so you can see what it is I'm trying to do. You'd obviously call them something different, something a bit more succinct when you're working. Trying to actually put something here. So you can't actually see the section here because it's right at the top. So if we need to add a main tag. Well, these two. Our section, we're going to have a width, and we're going to clamp this. Yeah, so now you can see our little section that we've added. There we go. I'm just going to, I'll just add a margin to this. There we go, pushes it down a little bit. So if you can see where I'm going with this, there's very little difference in building the different components of a web page using this function. And you'll notice these nav links don't do anything. So what I'm going to do now is add event listeners to our nav link buttons. Document.createSelect nav menu item dot for each nav item nav item dot on click and what we're going to do is we are going to navigate our page to this area. But before we do that, we need to make sure that our areas actually have anchor tags to them. Now we could either modify our createPageElement function to include an ID, but not everything's going to have an ID, so it's not needed. So section home.id equals home. Simple as that. Window.location equals nav item dot inner text. But before that, we'll do hash. Cool. So once we've added more components to this page, then this should navigate us appropriately. So let's start by adding a couple of other things to this. I'm just going to duplicate this. Section about. And that's not meant to happen. Display block. Yeah. It's still doing it. It's because all of these are flex. That's not what I want. That's better. Okay. So in our section here for about, I'm just going to add some lorem ipsum, which I've copied from the old internet. And then I'm going to copy this again for our gallery and our contact. Come back here. Okay. Don't go that far away. So that's about gallery and contact. Awesome. So we've got our 4 sections on here, and clicking on those don't work. Why do you think that is? It's starting to. Oh. Yeah, that'd be why. Our home. There we go. Now, we have on our main a margin top of 6.4. But I'm going to move that you know what, I will give it that again. Give it a bit more room to breathe on the page. There we go. You know what, I'm going to do this. Space above and below our heading, and there's space above and below our sections. So there's room for it all to breathe on the page. And it means when we click on our links, it doesn't interfere with the nav bar. So we've got just under 60 lines of JavaScript, and we've got this entire page layout. So I'm sure you can see potential for this and see where we can expand this to add even a photo gallery and a contact form, as this page would suggest we're going to do. This is just a taster of what document.createElement can do. As I said, you can use all the HTML tags, image, video, form, input, text area, everything. It can do everything. That's the point of it. It creates page elements. It's so versatile and it's so powerful, especially if you're using asynchronous calls to populate your page's content. If you used document.createElement before, leave a comment down below to tell us what you did and why. And if you haven't, there's a link in the description that explains everything. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and check out this video where I show you how you can create an expanding text area with just 4 lines of JavaScript. I'll see you next time.